Pokémon World Championships 2025 in Anaheim was insane. In this video, I'll take you through the Pokémon Center experience from waiting outside to checking out at the cashier and claiming lottery vouchers. At the end of the video, I'll give you some tips you need to know, such as how to successfully make a reservation, what merch sells out the fastest, and how restocks work, so stay tuned till the end. Oh, and before we get started, I'd just like to point out that you've probably seen some clips that make the pop-up store experience seem miserable, with people pushing, shoving, and trampling over each other to fight for merch. The pop-up store was open from Wednesday to Sunday, and from what I've seen and heard, it was only this crazy on Wednesday and a little bit of Thursday. There are always a ton of scalpers and resellers that grab the first and second day time slots to resell merch, and they tend to be the most aggressive. For us, it was a much more chill experience as the staff were able to come up with more organized processes by the time it was our slot on Friday morning. So keep that in mind when booking your own reservation for future Worlds events. Alright, with all that being said, let's get into our World's pop-up store experience. Our Pokémon Center reservation was on Friday morning at 9:30 a.m. Reservations were available in 15-minute intervals, so in this first clip you can see the 9:15 a.m. reservations lined up to go into the building. When it was our turn, we lined up outside and then the staff let us inside where we went through security and bag check. From there, we entered the outside part of the pop-up store with cool Pokémon decorations and decor, which led us to another line. Here we waited for the 9 a.m.s and 9:15s to check out before we were let into the pop-up store. We finally made it into the store around 10 a.m. I did the best I could to record the inside of the store for you guys with my Meta glasses, but the footage is a bit shaky since it was so hectic inside. The inside of the store was massive. The different products were spread throughout the entire store, which was nice since it gave us a bit of room to walk around. The downside is, if you're indecisive like I am, you may initially skip something that was at the front of the store, then decide you want it later and have to walk all the way back to the entrance. The staff did a good job of grouping similar products together, such as putting all the plushes near the entrance and all the TCG accessories like card sleeves and deck boxes at the end. Exclusive apparel was found all throughout the store. Right before checkout, there was a section to claim your lottery vouchers. I'll go into the lottery process in more detail in a bit. From there, the checkout process was smooth as there were over 30 staff at the checkout counter. After checking out, the final step was to pick up our lottery items with the vouchers we received from the staff. I forgot to record as there was a lot going on, but they had an insane amount of skateboards, shiny Gyarados figures, Pokémon Center ETBs, and jukeboxes. The retro-style jukebox is one of my favorite pickups from this year. And that's the entire pop-up store experience, but before you click away, let's get into some tips for next year. Secure your reservation. Learning how to make a Pokémon Center reservation is perhaps the most important thing to know before going to Worlds. At Worlds, reservations are required for entry. This year and in previous years, reservations were made by clicking on the direct link on the Pokémon Worlds official website. The pop-up store was open from Wednesday until Sunday, meaning that it's open 2 full days before the actual Worlds event starts on Friday. Reservations were booked up very quickly, just a couple days after they went live, which was much faster than last year, so make sure to subscribe as I'll be posting updates on this channel. This was the first time the Pokemon Company decided to use a lottery system, and there were mixed feelings about it from the community. If they do the same system next year, you'll need to opt in to the various lotteries, which I highly recommend you do, at the time of booking your reservation. Each lottery entry for the various products is separate from one another, and if you win one, or more than one lottery, you'll receive an email stating you're eligible to purchase the items you won. Purchase is not mandatory, so I personally recommend entering the lottery for every item possible. You can always choose to forego your winning lottery voucher, or you can even trade it with others in case you don't want the item and they won something that you wanted. Have a game plan. I'd highly recommend having a plan and strategy before it's your turn to shop. Influencers get to go in first, so watch some of their clips to get an idea of where things are located throughout the store. At every Worlds event, clothes are always the first things to run out. People go crazy over the exclusive apparel, and the smaller sizes are the first to go. Some items were sold out after the first day, and others were only available in 3XL or bigger by the time we got in for our reservation on Friday. If you want to get apparel at MSRP, your best chance is to make a reservation on Wednesday, but you'll need to fight the scalpers for it, so best of luck. I didn't care for any of the apparel myself, but I really wanted the duffel bag since it looked really cool. Unfortunately, the duffel bag sold out before we went in on Friday morning, so I had to buy one from a reseller at market price. Which time slot is best? There are pros and cons to the various time slots. Like I just mentioned, if you want exclusive clothes in any size large or below, you'll most likely need to book a reservation on Wednesday or Thursday. Many popular items like pins and keychains sold out quickly in the morning, with staff restocking most of those items as long as they had inventory left in the back. However, many people with afternoon time slots as early as 1 p.m. reported there were no restocks after the morning, and that the sold out items weren't restocked until the following day. That being said, the staff also waited until the afternoon on Saturday to put out Destin Rivals Pokémon Center ETBs, which retail for $60 and are currently going for around $250 on the secondary market. So those with the morning time slot were able to buy most of the merch they wanted with the exception of clothes, and missed out on the Pokémon Center ETBs, which those with afternoon time slots on Saturday and Sunday were able to buy. Alright, that's the entire Pokémon Center pop-up store experience at Worlds, and some tips that should help you out if you plan on going to Worlds in the future. As a new YouTuber, it would help me out a ton if you could like, comment, and subscribe if you found this video helpful or entertaining. I know many of you may be struggling to catch online Pokémon Center drops to buy Pokémon cards at MSRP. Check out my Pokémon Center video below, which covers everything you need to know to successfully buy from the Pokémon Center. Thanks for watching, and let me know if there's anything you want me to cover in a future video, or if you have any comments or questions that I can answer below. Peace!